Hi, I'm Ciara Dalton and you are listening to the South Dublin Arts and Culture podcast. Unwrapped is almost upon us. It'll take place on Saturday the 7th of December at 5pm. Unwrapped 19 marks 10 years of the festival with a theme that reflects the diversity of the participatory community event that it has become. For this year's event, the Unwrapped team took as their inspiration an award-winning animation by artist Majid Adin, an Iranian refugee now based in London. Majid won a commission from the Elton John Foundation to reinterpret the song Rocket Man. He worked in partnership with Irish animator Stephen McNally to create a profoundly beautiful and moving animation about a refugee's search for safe passage. Unwrapped's creative team has developed a number of creative responses to Majid and Stephen's work, including illuminated sculptures, a series of lantern-making workshops, a series of large-scale projections with soundtracks, and a live music performance. The title is Safe Haven, and the event begins with a lantern procession which will move from Chamber Square to Library Square, where there will be a video projection accompanied by a live music performance featuring over 100 musicians and singers. Majid's story is truly extraordinary, and during a recent visit to Tallaght, where he gave a talk about his experiences in Ruach Red, he sat down with Unwrapped's creative director Tony Fagan of Tallaght Community Arts to discuss how events took him from the jungle in Calais to the home of Elton John on the French Riviera just over a year later, and how Tony discovered Majid's work. The other voice you'll hear is Unwrapped's musical director Jerry Horan of Contact Studio, who created the soundtrack to Majid and Stephen's artwork that will be projected onto the wall of Ruach Red every evening from 4 to 8pm. Monday the 2nd to Friday the 6th of December. During his time in the jungle of Calais, Majid met Joe Murphy and Joe Robertson, who founded Good Chance Theatre. They built temporary theatres of hope in the form of large domes in areas with high refugee populations, where they create meaningful opportunities for immigrant and local communities to interact through the arts. Tony Fagan is good friends with the two Joes, and the conversation starts with Majid and Tony discussing some work that Good Chance Theatre are currently developing.
So I got to know them really well then.
Yeah. And is that how you found out about this video?
No.
Just pure coincidence?
No. The other night, my former director from Lift I worked with sent me something about Amal, which is this story, which he'll tell you about in a minute, but it's about this puppet that they've made, which is going to cross Europe with through various theatres and cities, yes?
Yeah, and that puppet, we want to invite the other artists involved. That's the mainly, I don't know, Joe and Joe, they told me that's mainly this character. Have you seen the Jungle Theatre play or no?
The Jungle?
The Jungle. There is the name of the play, they made by the Stephen Daldry. They made directed.
Yes, I know that. That was the one that went to New York.
This the one character.
So Stephen Daldry's, he made. I can't remember. Anyway, he's a famous director, film director.
I know the name.
The one character, one girl. There's the acting in this play. The role of the name of this Syrian girl is the Amal. This actually they made this puppet. It's a big puppet from this character. This character is a Syrian girl.
So Rose, just by the way, sent me this the other night. She didn't know, and I went, Good Chance Theatre. I went, oh my God, Stephen. I went, oh my God. And I thought, so I went back and said, well, interesting enough, I said, I'm working with an artist who's connected with Good Chance, which is Majid, and I sent her back the animation. Your animation. And she went, oh my God, she said, this is so moving because, she's just said, well, the Rocket Man is the kind of, in a way, is the other counterpoint of Amal, the same thing about, this.
Also,
go on.
Also, I was thinking maybe I get a. I told them I can. Maybe we can for this Amal puppet. If you made it, there's a smaller size or something. Maybe that's very good for if you want to make a stop frame animation with this puppet.
It's interesting, and we Tadashi, who you met, we use this Kamishibai, which is this paper theatre, which is this Japanese theatre, which all the all the older animators in Japan who were in their 60s, maybe 50s, 60s and 70s, they all as small children saw this paper theatre. And then it disappeared when television came along.
Oh, yeah.
But they say this paper theatre made them become animators.
Oh.
And it's very interesting. So it's very... And now I think you're absolutely... Because I kept thinking there's a kind of... You know, you have this... So the idea is they're going to take this puppet and they're going to walk it across Europe, and each city, and artists in each city and people will host it and whatever, in order to... Same thing, to synthesize people's... You know, to kind of get them out of get them out of this discourse about, oh my God, refugees, oh my God, migrants, to kind of say, these are individual, everyone is an individual person, and everybody, you have to kind of understand that each person has their own story, tragic and sad and beautiful, and that it is, and that's what they're trying to do, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But it's going to cost a lot of...
That's good.
Well, yes, I think logistics is amazing.
And how about how you guys first got in touch? So how did you find Rocket Man? Was it through these people?
How I find Rocket Man, I'll tell you. I live out in the countryside here in Ireland, in a very small village. Yeah.
Yes.
I work in the village school with little kids from 5 to 9, 1 day a week. And last year, early this year, I was working with them, and we decided that we were going to do something about the 50 years of people going to the moon. The moon landing, 50 years of the moon landing.
Wow.
So we decided with 90 children, the very little children, were going to be trained as astronauts to go. We were going to build a rocket in the village and send it to the moon. So they were the little astronauts. The middle school kids became like Houston, mission control, and they had to get everything ready for the rocket. And the older kids became the world's media, who were camped out on the next village. Yeah. So it was a kind of fiction, okay? But that's what we did. So in the process, I was talking to some of the older children. I said, can you find some music from that period about the moon and rockets and spacemen and whatever? And they did. And then one of the kids said to me one day, do you know, I think he or she, I can't remember, there are no more songs about going to the moon after 1975. And I went, ooh. So then I went home that night and I thought, so I Googled and Rocket Man came up.
That's fantastic.
And I looked at it and went, oh my God. And then I thought, we need to do this. I mean, we've had a long conversation in Ireland. In Ireland, we have a history of leaving and going somewhere else. Yeah? And not being welcome. Yeah? That's part of our own history. But for people coming here, we're everybody has to change their mindset to be much more welcoming. So we felt that this event that we do once a year was a way in which to say to people, come on, we can welcome people, we can welcome people, we can welcome people here. And your animation was...
Thank you very much.
The one...
No, thank you. That was the result of the good teamwork, good team and cooperation. But also Stephen.
Tell me a little bit about, in your own words, in your own time, how did you get to make Rocket Man? What happened? What's the bit of the story?
Background of this story.
Yes.
That time, after early 2017, I got less than 1 year. I came to the UK. I got after I was living in the Derby, I got my paper refugee status. I was so lucky. Very fast, I got less than 1 year.
And you'd come from, and you'd been in Calais, and you'd come. You don't need to tell me that story, but
that's that in asylum seeker process. First, I was in the hostel in the Birmingham. After that, sending me to the sharing house to the Derby. After it is there's a process for all the refugees in the UK. After we got the refugee status, in 4 weeks we have to leave that sharing house and start or new life or something. This I could stay in the Derby. I'll say yes. I want to go to the London and become animator, become artist, because I don't know, a bit is the difficult in the small town. Like in Derby, if you continue to, it was very risky. I hadn't the money, I hadn't the share, but I moved to the London.
So you left Derby with no much money, not knowing.
Totally, I had at that time less than £100. I didn't know anybody. I just one friend is very. Not that he was just one person I knew there. It was one of my friends. It was in the jungle. He was a refugee asylum seeker.
So he was in the jungle in Calais.
After that he came.
Camp.
He lives in the sharing house in the London in Ilford.
Uh-huh.
Just I knew him. He couldn't legally he couldn't have other guests or something in his house because he could. It was a asylum seeker in the sharing house from the home office or something. Just I knew him. I from the Derby. I hadn't in my just £100 I had. I moved to the London. I went to his house. And because of that, I wasn't the illegal. They had the permission to have a guest. Every morning, about 2-3 weeks, every morning I had all of my baggage or something. I moved before, because sometimes the home office
come
to visit makes a problem for them.
Yeah.
Walking around the London, I came back at night for sleeping there. Finally, I found the room or in the Kilburn. Kilburn, it was the first place I was living there. And I was looking for the job or something. It's in my mind. It was I don't continue as I want to do anything as a job as an artwork or something. This I got some job, some painting, and sold some painting or something. This one Rocketman, I think it was my first professional job in the. Because I went to.
So how did you find out about it?
Yeah, it's because I was anybody I knew. I went. Do you have any job about the art or something? Joe, I knew the Good Chance Theatre, Joe
from Calais.
From the Calais.
Yeah.
I went to them and said, "Yeah, I'm looking for the job. Do you have any job or anything or something?" First, we had in the meeting about the. I had a connection for not about the Rocketman. We had some meeting about one play. I had one idea about the one play. Say, yeah, that's a good idea. We can work on it or something. This. One day I went to their flat to speak about that play or something. It wasn't at all, not about the Rocketman music video. It wasn't at all. Joe Murphy played this music. Said, "Have you heard this music?" I said. I told no, I haven't heard this music.
So you'd never heard Rocketman?
I knew that Elton John, but no.
No, you didn't.
I can't remember because that time my English.
Can I just butt in for a moment, just to say, Good Chance Theatre is a theatre company that makes plays with people, but they also had a presence in the jungle in Calais, in the refugee camps there. So this is where Majid had met them. So that's why he reconnected with them in London. So back to you. Then what happened next?
Joe Murphy played this music, this Rocketman. So I played it. I couldn't understand because my English that time it wasn't 100 times worse than now. I couldn't understand at all. What is that? The lyrics or something? Maybe it was because of that. I find this idea. I asked Joe. I don't know what's that. Is a competition? What's that? Joe Murphy told me, "Do you have any idea about that?" I couldn't understand. What is that? So he told me, Joe Murphy, just one sentence. Told me that's a story of the one astronaut go to the Mars and miss his family. Just I knew that one line.
Okay.
I didn't know more about that. So yes, it can be one refugee, can be miss his family. Just it was like that.
Amazing.
I came back.
Amazing.
That's finished. I came back. He told me, yes, if you can draw some sketch or something.
But he didn't say that there was a competition.
No, but I think maybe I can't remember. He told something, but me also, I wasn't very serious, and they didn't. I don't think they were very serious about that. They think I didn't know at all. That's a very huge competition.
Yes.
Firstly, I was thinking is some competition for the refugees or something. I didn't know at all. That's after I won the competition, I got it. That's very huge. It was a very huge competition. That time I didn't know is this so important or something. That I came back home about 1 week or something. I completely forgot it about that. After 1 week again, Joe Murphy sent me a message. Did you do anything about that thing? So I told to him, yes, I want to do something. That time, yes, I found at that time I got exactly the lyrics of that. I think it was one afternoon. I was in my room in the Kilburn. I found this music with the Persian subtitle.
Right.
It was something. It was maybe moved me to do it, and completely. The first line. It was she packed my bag last night.
Yeah.
9 a.m. per flight or something.
Yeah.
This is the first line of this. That's brought back me to the one memorized about. Maybe it was the first picture. It started about all the things. It brought back me to the one memorized because I missed somebody for the 8-9 years ago. I had a flight and I haven't seen her since now. It was the last time. It completely brought back me to the.
Reminded
me that that person. Yeah, it is one story of my life because it was my flight. It was at the 9 a.m. Was what? That's make the connection with this line and this memorize or something there. And after that, all of them came to the like a puzzle. It came, but it wasn't just. I drew some sketches about 2-3 days. I put it in the Premiere timeline. I sent them. I was very surprised. They won the competition.
So you sent it to Good Chance?
Yeah, Good Chance Theatre. They sent to the Elton John. All of them. They did just. I put this. I drew some sketches, something. The first draft it was different. After that, Stephen so much the complete the animatic.
Yeah.
It was very rough. Just about the thought mainly a story. It was like that. Yeah.
So because I've seen some of those black and white sketches.
Oh yeah, that was.
So, from the time they sent it off, from the time you drew it, to the time you knew that you'd won. How long was that? How many weeks?
I sent to the Good Chance Theatre. I think maybe 1 month, 2 months.
After
that, they send me back
to say you've won.
Yeah, it was very surprised. They said yes, they won the idea, but it wasn't. They told me yes, you won the idea. I said, the surprise. I said, oh my God, how can I do it? How can I make it this animation? Because it was very difficult.
And did they give you? So they gave you money to make the?
No, it wasn't.
No, but they had money to make it.
Yeah, they after my idea, they won the competition. They sent me to the Blinkings. At that time, I met Stephen.
Blink Inks is an animation company that Stephen McNally is part of. And so they sent Majid to Stephen, who was made animator and had the production kind of team and people around him to be able to work with Majid to do this. Right, tell me what happened next.
After that, again, that's a term. Actually, to be honest, no, I'm not very professional in animation, technical. Many years I didn't work or something.
Yes.
That's it was a very good cooperation with the Stephen, because Stephen said, yes, you sit again, then blink and draw a sketch. He put all of them again, because I didn't know the technical part. How is that? He completely matched all of the team, all the group, and the technical part, all of them. The final result is completely.
And am I right? Stephen said to me that you had to draw with each other because you didn't have. He couldn't speak Farsi, Persian, and you didn't speak English, and you just drew.
Yeah, that time it was. That time my English is so much. Many times it was worse than now. Yeah, he told me, yes, sit and draw any idea, anything, draw a sketch or something. This again, Stephen again made animatic again.
So he would take it and turn it digitally. He would turn it into something digital. And then you had a team of people work with you?
The first time, about first month or first 3 weeks, just me and Stephen again working to improve this idea, the main idea. They changed this part with the mainly Stephen changed some part of maybe 30-40%. Changed some part of the the main idea, animatic I sent to them. After this was pre-production of the after finished the pre-production. After that they joined the team.
And how many worked on it?
It was on and off. It wasn't, for example, maybe 20% involved to the project.
How many people?
20
people came in and out of the project.
Yes, it wasn't not all the time. It came 2 days, 3 days, 1 week or something.
How long did it take to make?
I think less than 3 months.
That's
all
amazing.
The project, maybe not less than 2.5 or something.
And were you having to work to a deadline? Did you have to have it made by a certain date?
Yeah, it was. We have to. Yes, it was have to finish I think it was for the deadline for the last night we worked on the late night in the.
As always. Always. And so this was this project that Elton John Foundation put together called The Cut. Wasn't it? The whole thing called The Cut, which was to mark Elton John and Bernie Taupin's 50 years of working together as artists. And then, where was it premiered? In London or in Cannes? Where was it first shown?
The first is after that, me and Stephen and Ryan, producer, 3 persons, we went to the Cannes. The first, it was the...
so that was the first time it was shown in public.
First screening of that. It was actually it was the first screening. It was for the Elton John in his villa.
Hang on. So you went to his villa in Cannes?
No, Nice in the.
So hold on. This is amazing. So you made this film, and you went to Nice.
Yeah, it was.
And you and Stephen and the producer, what was his name?
Ryan.
So the 3 of you went to Elton John's villa in Nice.
Yeah, it was the first.
To show him.
Yeah, because Elton John need to accept that we can.
That it's okay.
Yeah, it was the first screening. First screen, actually, it was for the Elton John. It was a private screening for the Elton John.
How many people?
Maybe 15, less than 15. Elton John, Bernie. His husband or a small group of the people, not the
and after that, how did that feel sitting there showing?
Yeah, it was very because it was interesting. At that time, it was the maybe 17 May 2017, 2017 or something. That time exactly. Less 1 year before I was in France. Around 1 year before that, I was in France, and I was as a refugee in France. I was
So
I was
1 year
sleeping on
before
this,
you were in the jungle in Calais as a refugee.
Yeah, many city after.
And then 1 year on, you were sitting in a villa in Nice, in France again, with Elton John.
Yeah, I wasn't in the college because many city port of that I was sleeping many night on the street or something. This time it was a complete change between the 1 year. It was
amazing.
I had the lunch with the Elton John with all of the billionaires. I'm confused. One year before anybody saw me on the street or something, it scared me. Why that's sad? But in this group of the people, all the multi-billionaires, important people or something. Yeah, it was very dreamy.
And what did he think when he saw it?
He likes so much. He likes so much. Yeah, that he likes and encouraged me. And so it was so positive. Yeah, it was so.
And
good.
then you went and showed it at the film festival.
Yeah, after that we showed it in the film festival.
And I hear you met Spike Lee. Is that correct?
Pardon?
Did somebody told me you met Spike Lee, the African-American director? Did you?
Yeah, that's yeah. It was very. A bit look like.
And it won a prize. Did it win a prize?
Yeah, I won a prize, $10,000, YouTube prize.
Fantastic. That's amazing.
Yeah, that was.
What a story.
Yeah, it was a bit look like the Bollywood.
You can make a musical out of it, can you?
It was a very fast change. Yeah, it was my situation because I hadn't traveled at all when I left the France the year before that, and after 1 year I came. Actually, around 1 year it was the past. I came back again to the France. It was a very completely different view of the.
And has making that film, has that helped you? Has it kind of, have you been able to, people have seen it and wanted you to do other things? Is that, was making that film good? Was it good in terms of the next things that you want to do?
Of course, yeah. It was like a miracle to my life. Yeah, it was. I completely believe it's not to say yes. I am a humbling, some person or something. No, it was like a miracle to my life. So I don't know. I told before, I don't know. God helps me or Elton John helps me. One of them. but yeah, maybe
a bit of both. Maybe a bit of both.
Maybe both. But one of them. But yeah, they make me famous. Make me many opportunity to speak. My voice, have an opportunity to have a creation of the artwork. Sometimes I got the completely this responsibility. They say yes, this is a God or something. They give you this chance or something. They give you this voice, make you famous or make you this opportunity. You can sit in front of some microphone or something. You have a voice. If it doesn't happen to you, you haven't this chance. This is not just for your talent to be proud or something. It's that like a gift to you. It should be use it as a positive way.
Because you've been doing some other work, didn't you, with the Refugee Week this last year? You were doing some work, weren't you?
Yeah, I work after that. I work many things because of that. Yes, and now if you as like a gift became the famous or some give this opportunity is the right way. I use it in the positive way, not just become something selfish for myself or something. Because of that, so I try to use it positive
and talk on behalf of other people who are in the same situation. Like
I think when I was thinking myself, I said millions of the I think it's more than 30 millions of the refugees. They are around the world, but how many of them they have this situation to have a voice and speaks about that? If you God give you a gift, some gift to you, it should use it.
But that's huge credit to you, Majid, because some people don't have that view of a kind of a responsibility maybe, or of a kind of, you say your gift needs to be shared with other people. I mean, without you having done that, we would not be doing, we're going to have an event here with possibly 300 people and other people, and, for us, it's not just the event, it's the process. It's all the people, local people here some who don't really know all those stories about this refugee and migrants. They see it on the television, they hear it, but it's not a reality for many people, thankfully, in many ways. But actually, that people need to know. And so, in a sense, if you hadn't made that film, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing here in a small way on the 7th of December, which is to share this wonderful film on the back wall of the building here, and have other people, and 300 odd lanterns made, which are kind of responding to some of the visual images and ideas and whatever. This morning when I was in St. Peter's School in Clondalkin up the road, 8, 9, 10-year-old kids, when I was showing the film on my laptop, and they were singing the song. The kids were singing the song when they were watching the film, because this was the first time they'd seen the film, because their teacher hadn't shown them the film, even though I'd sent the link, but nobody got round to it. So they went, and they were very clear. I said, what do you think the last 2 images are, about the wife and the children looking at Mars and the rocket man looking back at Earth, and they were very clear. They're far away from each other. So, that's what's amazing about this, is that actually those 2 final images so clear about this business of this distance, this emotional, existential distance, but also this physical distance. You might as well be across the universe when you're ripped apart from your own culture, from your family, from your friends, or whatever, and you as you say, you were in Derby, you didn't have anybody, you had £100 and you went to London, and and these things happen. But for some people it doesn't happen. So it's pretty amazing. And I've seen a very other lovely very sad animation you've made of the family who are refugees, and the little girl, the daughter, the sister, and then
the sibling,
and then by the end, she's not there at all. She's in fact dead. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary. It's very. I said to you, remember when we were talking by Skype? I said it's like the grave of the fireflies. That Japanese animation about the children who escaped.
Yeah, I inspired some part of
the firebombing in Tokyo during the Second World War. Similar thing, yeah. Okay, I think we probably... Should we have a rest?
No, that's okay. I'm okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
I'd like to ask you something.
Yeah.
Just about Unwrapped.
Yeah.
Just about... How do you think seeing the Rocket Man video affected your thinking on what? Because you'd already talked about doing a projection. You were thinking about something to do with the moon landing.
Well, I suppose in a way Unwrapped has evolved itself over the last 10 years. We started very, very small 10 years ago, which was to try and celebrate something in winter here, because Jerry and Martin work with a lot of young musicians. My organisation, we have an office here in this building. We work with lots of people in communities. We work with professional artists, but lots of people who are not professional artists, who are learning, who just have an interest, a love of making art, but they don't do it every day. They can't afford to earn a living and they don't want to be an artist every day of their life, but they want to do something. And I suppose over the years it's grown, and one of the librarian who used to be here, Una Phelan, was a wonderful librarian. She said some years ago, I think about 2015 or something, she said, what happens in Unwrapped every year is a kind of civic event. It's a kind of a way in which people, through their arts, through their creativity, can be present publicly as citizens, and to do something as a citizen, which is not which is not political, but is political, because their presence in their community doing something positive is really important. So I just felt that after last year's Unwrapped, which was wonderful, was great. It was great. But I thought, well, we need to do something which is about the bigger world around us, because we live in really troubled times now.
Yeah.
So the moon landing was a kind of a thing just to say, and I thought, well, that's not quite right, but we need to do something that is not all just about us here in Tala or just about us in Ireland, but something bigger. And then I came across Rocket Man, really. And it's weird, because I think it's like what happened to you. Once you decide to do something, there's a quote from Goethe which says, making decision, once you've made the decision, all sorts of things fall into place. I can't do it the way Goethe wrote it, but it's that kind of thing. Once you make a decision about something, then that happens, then that happens, then that happens, and that happens.
Yeah.
Mostly positive. And so once we made the decision, it seemed right to be doing it. And everybody who saw the film that we showed to, everybody said, oh my God. Oh my, people cried, people were just really moved. Oh my God, this is incredible. And then, of course, what happened was, so we decided to do it. And then 1 month ago, 5 weeks ago, maybe, our president, we have a president called Michael D. Higgins. He's a poet. He's an artist. We have an artist as a president. We're very, very lucky. We're very lucky.
Yeah.
And he comes and he could be in this room sitting there and he would talk to you. He has one security person. He just doesn't bother with all that nonsense, okay? So he was at the UN forum. Everybody, all the politicians at the UN. And he stood up and he said, we have to welcome people into our countries. And he was talking to the Europeans and the Americans, of course, under Trump, but also Eastern Europeans and the Western Europeans about this business. But he also said to the people here in Ireland, and we have to remember our history. And therefore we should be creating more of a welcome for people coming into our country. And I thought, amazing. So our president says something. We make the decision to do something, having seen your film. Yeah, and then our president says, you have to make a welcome. So we've called Unwrapped this year Safe Haven, which means safe place, which is kind of what people want. When they become a refugee, you want to go somewhere safe to live your life, maybe to bring your family, your friends, the people you love. So, I think it's the right thing to be doing at this moment in time, 10 years on. I think it's the right thing to be doing. I think we have to, I think of all of us who work in the arts, there are three things that are really facing us. One is this refugee issue. 2 is climate change, the climate crisis. And 3 is this mad economy that we have where some people are billionaires and other people don't have a home. And they're the 3 things. And we have to say these are really important. And if the arts can help people understand it through their heart and their head, then fantastic. And have a good time doing it. The pleasure that people have had making their lanterns, to design things, to think about things, whatever. When parents come and they work with their small children on a Saturday when we have the workshops and they're helping them do something, it makes that connection. Good art, when it connects with people, is really great art.
Yeah.
So we'll have a good time on the 7th of December, I hope.
And what will happen exactly?
Oh.
Don't forget the week leading up.
What?
Don't forget the week leading up to it.
Right, in the week leading up to it, Jerry talked to yourself and Stephen about taking some samples from the early drawings of Rocket Man and taking them and putting some other pieces of soundtrack to them, because we're going to project on the week leading up, from the Monday leading up, that'll be the 2nd of December, we're going to project them on the back wall like a trailer.
Oh, amazing.
But to kind of, people go, what's that? What's that? What's that? Was it at night, between 4 and 8 o'clock at night, out on the wall out here? We'll take you out and show you the wall. It needs cleaning a bit. And so that will be there. And then there's a plasma screen in the shopping centre. So it'll be up on there. And it'll be on a plasma screen in the library. And down here in Rua Red. They don't have one in the Civic, do they, I think? I don't know what. Sure. Anyway, so that'll be getting people to think. And then on the Saturday at 4:30, something like 300 people will arrive here in this building, collect their lanterns, which will be, they have wire frames in them and lights and sticks, and go up onto the top square, which is Bellegarde Square West, which is up on the other side of the library in Tala, where what I call the tin cans are. That's a sculpture. And they will gather there. And then we will make a parade down along here with drummers and come into the square here, which is called Library Square, but I call it our backyard. And the choirs will be down one end. We've got probably about 100 and something people in a choir, children, adults, and whatever, all community choir, no professional choir, led by a professional person. A whole bunch of young musicians, led by Jerry and Martin, his colleague. And then we will screen your film without Elton, without his music, with the live band and the choirs.
Amazing.
Singing. And then our mayor will probably say a few words that I'll have told her. These are the things I think you should say, but she'll decide what she wants to say herself. And then at the end of it, we were trying to work out, what do we do? What do we do at the end? And we found, you're too young, probably. We found on Abbey Road, the Beatles, there's a thing called Golden Slumbers, which is like a lullaby.
Okay.
And so we're going to sing Golden Slumbers and then Carry That Weight, and then the end, which is beautiful because the words that Paul McCartney wrote, how many, 40 years ago? In 1968, 69? Are amazing because they're really the words about somebody away from home.
That's a lullaby.
Lullaby for the children. But also, there's a second bit which says, you've got to carry that weight a long time, which is about the burden of being away. And then there's a very beautiful bit at the end, which goes, the love that we have is the love that we make. It's a very, very lovely sequence.
Okay.
And so...
Wow, amazing.
Well,
that's so good.
Weather permitting. We don't want rain. So talk to Elton and God about no rain, please.
I speak with them.
whichever phone you use. Yeah.
This podcast is a South Dublin Arts Office initiative supported by Contact Studio.